In Merseyside, specifically Liverpool, England, 16-year-old John Lennon and 15-year-old Paul McCartney met one another at a church garden party on July 6, 1957. The two were both impressed by one another's musical talent when Lennon's band, the Quarrymen, played at the event and when Paul McCartney performed backstage for Lennon. Lennon was so impressed by Paul's gift that he asked him to join the band as a rhythm guitarist. Little did those two know that this would be the beginning of something monumentally legendary. Over the roaring 60s as a whole, the Beatles were the dominant figureheads for youth-centered pop on the sales charts. With such a following, they could influence a number of people's thoughts and ideas and create change for the causes they found necessary. One movement that the band from Liverpool had shown their support for was the US Civil Rights Movement. The members of the Beatles had shown this support and had made a statement by refusing to play in front of segregated audiences as a protest. With statements such as, "We never play to segregated audiences," and "We aren't going to start now" from John Lennon, we can see that the Beatles did have an interest in equality in the Americas and wherever else in the world. City officials did relent eventually, allowing the stadium to be integrated and succumbing to the relentless protests of the Beatles and those who supported the civil rights movement. We have had a similar movement quite recently, that being Black Lives Matter. We saw a plethora of artists and other influential people, as well as anyone in the general public that wasn't a racist moron, stand up for this cause. Whilst I couldn't honestly stand here and say, well, right now I'm sitting down, I'm not standing, it would be hard to stand and record you. I cannot honestly say that one similar artist to the Beatles stood up for what was right, so I'll mention a few that did stand up, from Crystal Fighters to Bay Ledgers, Natty Walsh, Wheaton, and Phoebe Ryan, as well as Orange County Rex, just off the top of my head. They, like the Beatles, stood up for what was right and stood up for equality and change towards Black lives. With that being said, here is an album cover that I think the Beatles would use if they were still back together as a band and made a song to commemorate those that we have lost and to signify change.